Welcome everybody to the Electric SuperCar channel. Today we're going to work on this Toyota pickup truck as well as the Jeep, and we're going to do some custom drive shafts for each of them. This is a custom drive shaft, and we're about to throw it into two totally different trucks. Both these vehicles are at the same spot where we need to get some drive shafts to connect from the motor to the differentials. These drive shaft has to fit perfectly. Toyota has a Model 3 while the Jeep has a Model S. Totally different drivetrains. If I've got the measurements wrong, it could wear out the bearings, chew up the gears, or worst case, snap the shaft in half. And that means pulling the whole thing back out, ordering another one, and basically starting over. So yeah, the pressure's on. So in this video, we're going to tackle doing custom drive shafts for a custom setup. Let's get to it. So for those of you who are new to the channel, we're working on this 1987 Toyota pickup truck. This one's got a Model 3 drivetrain and it is located in the center of the vehicle. So this is the Model 3 unit. We did an episode where we mounted that. We've also done other episodes where we actually took apart the Model 3 motor, added a limited slip differential, as well as some gear reduction to make this go the correct speeds we want. It is a very similar story to the Jeep. So this is a 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So this one also has a Tesla motor. This one's a Model S motor mounted in the center of the Jeep. In case you missed that one, we actually did a custom mount for this motor as well. We also took this motor apart, gave it new gearing, as well as a limited slip differential. Both these vehicles are at the same spot where we need to get some drive shafts to connect from the motor to the differentials. All right, I put on these guys. I got these from the Driveshaft shop. This is the one on the front side. So what I need to do is I need to get this measurement from the surface here, basically to this surface right here. All right, so from the front here, it's exactly 30 1/4. And to the back here, it's 46 3/4. I need to make sure my numbers are spot on. The key here is keeping the tape measure perfectly straight, measuring along the same angle the drive shaft will sit. Huge shout out to the Driveshaft shop. These guys didn't just pull something off the shelf, they built this thing specifically for our setup. I sent them my measurements, explained what we were trying to do, and instead of saying, good luck with that, they said, we got you. A couple weeks later, boom, this beauty shows up, ready to go in. So big thanks to them for being a huge part of making this crazy idea actually possible. First, we're going to install this custom drive shaft on the Toyota. Spin motor, spin. Oh, cool. And just like that, we've got this side installed. But here's the thing, before we tightened everything down, we made sure to secure the CV joint right here. Why? Because this is the spot where the axle can slip. But yeah, everything's lined up exactly how we wanted. Let's jump over and get the other side installed. All right, this is the rear and it is looking so good. For today's sponsor, we have Viofo. This is the A39S, and this is a 3-channel dash cam. 4K in the front, 2K in the back dash cam. We also have a circular polarizing lens we can add, as well as a wireless Bluetooth remote control. Power cable going to the front, to the interior. We'll go ahead and get a car and get this installed. This has the Sony Starvis 2 IMX678 image sensor, which provides greater clarity and detail, achieving less noise in low light situation and less motion blur in fast motion. Power on the camera. There we are. So I got all 3 cameras. So let's go through some of the settings. So basically you can switch cameras, so go ahead and toggle. So that's like back or front camera. So that's interior. Hello. And that's the back. So go to your settings. So loop recording, so meaning every minute it will produce a video. Security video, like if it detects a bump or whatever, it'll put in a different folder. So that's more for like parking mode, which you can do. All right, we've got it all set up and we are going to take it for a ride and see how it goes. The combination of Sony Starvis 2 technology and HDR feature balances extremely bright and dark areas, revealing details and capturing accurate license plates, even with fast motion. It also has Wi-Fi 6 connectivity. This includes smoother 4K streaming and faster downloads. Transfer rates 3 times faster and transfer speeds at 30 megabytes per second. You can also put in a USB 3.0 and connect it directly to your phone. It has smart voice control, like take a photo, turn on Wi-Fi. It also has vehicle battery protection. The dash cam offers offers 2 methods to prevent battery drain in parking mode: preset time or voltage. If you watch the channel for a while, you know I'm a big fan of dash cams. So if you're in the market for a dash cam, I'll leave a link in the video description below. All right, so you saw that we just got the drive shafts installed on the Toyota, and you may think, hey, that wasn't too bad. The Jeep is another story. For the Jeep, we got the Tesla motor here in the middle. The way the motor is sitting in the vehicle, we've got to do some interesting things with the drive shafts. So I got a Tesla motor here on the bench, and basically the motor in the vehicle, the center section is kind of in that transmission tunnel. So that's pretty much where the transfer case was. So this one's pretty much in line with the front. This one needs to angle back, so the differential for the rear is kind of in line here. So the issue we have is if you kind of just did a straight line, it kind of starts hitting into this section here. So for the Jeep, we actually need to do a 2-part drive shaft where the first part comes out straight, and then about right here, we're gonna have a carrier bearing, and it's gonna go back to the rear differential. Let's unbox the drive shaft for the Jeep. All right, this is the last drive shaft. This is the front drive shaft for the Jeep. So this is custom CNC. Now look at that finish. This is an adapter for the drive shaft. It's about 1 inch thick, and again, got some threaded holes. Guess how much this cost me? So I'll say most sites that you can go to that have an automated quoting system, it's about 300 bucks. This one is right around 50 bucks. That's insane. And guess how long it took to get to my house? 10 days. So again, this is a great service if you need some CNC stuff. We do a lot of laser cutting, but every once in a while you do need some geometry that is in 3 dimensions. So the website is JLC CNC. We've got this adapter right here, and if it works the way I'm hoping, we're golden. If not, well, we might be redesigning this thing before the day's over. Only one way to find out. Let's try it. All right, got this one on. So again, this is a very nice drive shaft. We also have a very nice CNC part that's an adapter. So let's go put it on the Jeep. Can you see anything back there? We'll just start with 2. 2 for each. I think I gotta put this end in first because it's got a little lip. Oh, come on, fit. Jeez, so close. Yeah, so close. We're like, I don't know though. I think I'm gonna have to take a look at it outside and see if anything could be shortened. It's like the tiniest bit, like a playing card. All right, we've brought the Jeep into the garage here. We're gonna jack it up, see if we can get some jack stands and things, get a little more room to put those drive shafts in. The waves, there we go. Dude, it's so close. There, now you're in. All right, we are under the Jeep here, but we've got the front drive shaft installed. CNC cut part worked out just fantastic, so we're really thrilled with that. So if you're needing CNC parts, I would highly recommend them. Their prices are really, really competitive, and their lead times are just as good, if not better, than kind of a standard machine shop. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the video description below. All right, so here, basically there's like 6 bolts around this one, 4 right up here. That's all on there, so we just have one more drive shaft to go, and that is the rear drive shaft, and it's kind of a 2-piece drive shaft, so I think it'll be the most challenging. Next up, this right here is a carrier bearing, and it's the key to getting our custom drive shaft installed on the Jeep. We need it because the drive shaft has to stay perfectly parallel to the body. I designed and 3D printed this custom bracket to hold the bearing exactly where we need it. Now comes the fun part, putting it in place and seeing if my design matches reality or if we're about to head back and try it again. Close. Let me make a few adjustments. So this guy, the hull is just not quite. I think the whole, call it the plane. So the plane needs to be raised up a little bit, but I think I can tighten this guy so at least touches the far end here. So we'll come up with another design and print and retry. All right, we got a new bracket. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Perfect fit. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in this cross member to support the 2-piece drive shaft and just using essentially the motor mount as well as one of the gas tank. All right, so I've got all the wheels off the ground, the drive shaft. So they're moving too. Got this all figured out. So now we got rear and front drive shafts on the Jeep. Big shout out for Driveshaft Shop to get these custom axles made. Even though this is a very unique case, they were able to make both front and rear drive shafts for the Toyota as well as the Jeep. If you remember, we've got the Tesla motor mounted in the center of both these vehicles, so there's kind of some unique challenges to the placement as well as the angles. They're able to take care of everything. So if you've got custom drive shaft needs, they are the people to go to. So I'll leave a link in the video description below. Now that we've finally got the drive shafts in place, we can actually send power to the wheels, a big milestone for the build. But before we get carried away thinking about test drives, there's one crucial system we need to focus on, the brakes. We're taking a step back to make sure our stopping power is just as strong as our go power. The plan's pretty straightforward. Pull off the current setup, make the necessary modifications, and ensure every part is properly welded and secure. We'll also check that the pedals are perfectly aligned so they feel comfortable and responsive when driving. We've got some custom plates from Send Cut Send. These precision-made pieces will go back into the car, giving us a solid foundation for the brake assembly and making sure everything stays right where it needs to be. Once the brakes are sorted, we'll be one step closer to bringing this car to life, not just fast, but safe and ready for the road. This is the pedal out of the Toyota, and one of the comments was I added this as kind of an extender, but that also adds an extra pivot point. So what I'm going to do now is weld this to the brake pedal itself, so this is no longer being able to pivot, but we can still pivot from that point. It doesn't make sense to weld it here because it's on an arm that swings through an arc, and then it kind of goes from the bottom to the top. So we're just going to weld this one on the other piece, which will just be an extension. If you're loving this build and want to see it all the way to the finish line, hit that like button and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next step in the electric supercar journey. Because next time, we're tackling a part of this build that could completely change how it drives. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. All right, so just got it welded, both sides there, kind of the seams. So this will not be able to kind of pivot there anymore. All right, I wasn't satisfied, so I took the whole thing out and I'm going to redo some welds. So this is from JLC CNC. Let's see what we got. Okay, this is a CNC'd piece of aluminum. Sometimes you just need something that's CNC'd. So this one, we've got some reliefs here. It's also kind of at an angle. Let's show you what we're going to use it on. So we've already done a 3D printed piece. The angles and such were that this was kind of tilted up a little bit. it wanted to hit the hood. So we needed to angle it down ever so slightly to kind of keep it parallel. And one of the ways we could do that is with the CNC piece. So we're going to take this 3D printed piece out and put on this guy. All right, just like that, it is installed. And you can see that the brake reservoir is kind of nice and level now relative to the car. So that is one great way you can use this CNC service. Just like that, rock solid and locked in place. Everything's looking tight, secure, and ready for action. Now it's time to move on to our next challenge, the Jeep. So we put some standoffs here just to get the height that we wanted away from the floorboard. We're gonna mount this pedal, the accelerator pedal, to the Jeep. All right, so there it is, all mounted. I think it looks pretty good. So again, I think that's perfect placement. See, yeah, and then the brake will be. So again, I got the brake pedal kind of on there, but I cut off the actual pedal because it's too low. So I have to kind of get this one back out and figure out where to weld on the new one. So we're just gonna cut the pedal off so we can get it welded to the right position. All right, I did a couple quick tacks just to kind of see how we're doing. It's just tilted a little bit, so I need to kind of tilt it back. So I'll just cut one weld and kind of knock it just a titch. It's good to have the brake pedal. A little proud of the accelerator pedal, which it is. Again, about 2 fingers or 2 inches over. Pretty sweet spot there. All right, we've got it all figured out now, so everything's nice and even. So now we'll go do full welds. All right, got some welds on there. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple plates, or maybe I'll just grind it this way and put one plate, just to kind of finish everything off here. But yeah, that's gonna be nice and solid. So again, we just got now a plate that's kind of been welded and kind of ground that just covers up the little hole. So we'll probably strip a little bit more off and then do a layer of paint. All right, we got it nice and welded on. It's not going anywhere. Again, the reason to do this is I just need a little more length. So that was short. You see we needed like another 2 or 3 inches. So we've also got the adjustability so we can dial it exactly in where we need it. We've got the brake booster back in place. We need to make some new lines. Unfortunately, these go right to the right spot, but these are bubble flares and we need inverted flares. So this is also short enough that we can't just cut and redo these. So we got to make whole new lines. And they're different sizes. One's quarter, one's 3/16. All right, so what we gotta do here is essentially make the exact same line with the same bends. We're just gonna put on some different flare nuts. So we got this one made. Again, this, in theory, has the same bends as the original one. So that side's got the double flare, and then this side's got the bubble flare. We'll go put it in the car. We got one more to make. All right, we copied the brake lines as much as we could. Again, this one kind of goes, follows these ones, goes up and over, and then down. And then this other one wraps around, up, over. Again, nothing's touching any other line and everything's tight. So I think this is good. We'll probably see if we can make some clips or things, even if it's just like 3D printed, that might help. But yeah, that's good. That's brake system done. We'll still need to bleed this, but I think that's good. All right, that's gonna do it for this time. We got both the Jeep as well as the Toyota pickup truck. Got both drive shafts on both cars. So they are now four-wheel drive ready. The next step is getting batteries and all the wiring so that these things can move on their own power. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Anyone doing some custom works? What am I saying? Custom drive shafts, this one's for you. That's kind of lame. Where is that? There.